it's Dr. Kim. I'm here with you today to teach you to make one of my favorite breads. There are just a few simple ingredients that you need, and then you simply add whatever else you want to put in there. I like breads that are kind of garlicky and they have almost that Thanksgiving sort of flavor, like stuffing or dressing. And so you're going to start off with just 2.5 cups of organic whole wheat flour. You can substitute other flours if you like, but this is the healthiest ones for you. Next, you're going to use about 1/2 cup of the gluten-free flour. I like to use this because it's got tapioca starch and it will help the whole wheat flour stick together a little better. And you will also need 1 beer, just a regular, I think this is a 12 ounce beer. And the darker beers are better. I like the Blue Moon because it's got a little orange peel in it, so it adds a little zest. But you can use the beer of your choice, even Bud Light will work. And next, I use about a teaspoon of the Himalayan salt, or you can use sea salt. And you'll need 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and that will help the bread not be quite so hard. It'll make a softer bread. I also use about a teaspoon of black sesame seeds and a teaspoon of the white ones, and it just gives it a little nutty flavor and it adds fiber. You'll also need to go ahead and pour up about a tablespoon of olive oil and have that ready, because that's what you're going to basically grease your pan with. And the things that I'm adding into mine today are I diced up and minced 4 cloves of garlic. You do want to dice your garlic ahead of time because it increases the allicin content and makes it a healthier version. And we're also adding 1 tablespoon of ground thyme leaves, and then 1 tablespoon of ground rosemary, and then 1 tablespoon of the oregano, because I love that blend. And then I also had some leftovers from some oatmeal I made. And so in this there are some ground pumpkin seeds and ground almonds and some hemp hearts. So basically you can add whatever you want to your bread. You can mix it in the batter or you can sprinkle it on the top. What I think I'm going to do today, as I'm kind of winging this and doing it as I go along, I'm going to mix my sesame seeds in with the hemp hearts and nuts. And we'll give that a little stir. And once I make my batter and grease the pan with the olive oil, I'm going to sprinkle this all in the bottom, because essentially that will be the top of the bread. And then I'll add my batter in over that. So we'll get started. So the first thing you want to do is add all of your dry ingredients. And so first we have the whole wheat flour, and we're going to add in the gluten-free flour. And next we're going to add the rosemary, the thyme, and the oregano. And we'll go ahead and dump in our salt and our baking soda. And then we'll just kind of give those a little mix. It smells really good even before you bake it. You can smell all those herbs, and herbs add a lot of antioxidants. So we've got that all mixed up well. So next we're going to dump in the garlic. And this is raw. You don't have to use garlic if you don't like it. Like I said, you can substitute whatever you like. A lot of people like to make dill bread, so they'll put in a lot of dill weed, and that's a really good one too. Especially if you like to make cucumber sandwiches. Dill bread's really good with cucumbers. Okay, so see how hard that was? You just dump everything into one bowl and mix it up. And so next you're just going to add your beer, and you want to mix this in slowly. I poured about half of it in there, and then I'm going to give it a little mix, and you'll see it'll get really doughy. If your beer is not quite enough, you can always add just a tiny bit of water too. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of that in there. This is actually a home-brewed beer with the orange peel. We just rebottle it in the used bottles. Okay, so we're stirring this up, and you can see it's bubbling from the yeast action. Smells really, really good. You don't have to worry about the alcohol in the beer if you're not a drinker at all, because there will be no alcohol left once the bread bakes, but it still has that aroma and it's fantastic. So you want to be sure you scrape all the flour out of the bottom. That's why it's usually best to stir it with a spatula. That way you can kind of scrape and fold everything in. Okay. And actually, I think I'm going to do this in reverse of what I told you originally. Instead of putting the seeds in the olive oil on the bottom, I'm going to put them on the top just in case. I want to make sure it doesn't stick. So next, you're just going to pour your olive oil into the bottom of your bread pan. Now, one thing I failed to mention, if you're using a regular oven, you would want to go ahead and set it on 350 so it can be heating up. I'm going to use a steam oven so I don't have to preheat it. So once you get your oil in, you'll just want to smooth a little bit of it on the side. So you don't want to go all the way up the side, only about halfway, because you want your bread to be able to rise. And if you grease the thing all the way up to the top, it won't rise much. It would be like trying to climb a greasy wall. Okay, so we've got that in there. And next you're just gonna dump your bread dough in there. So we're just gonna scrape this into the pan. And the olive oil, you'll see there's a little extra olive oil in the bottom, but that's what you want because it's gonna kind of come up around the bread a little bit too and help with the crust. So we're just gonna scrape the dough in there. Okay. And so then you just want to kind of spread it out a little bit. You can also make rolls with these if you don't want to make a loaf of bread. You can make rolls if you'd prefer, just put it in a cupcake pan. Okay, and then we're going to sprinkle our little nutty seed mixture here right on top. The more nuts and seeds you add to your food, you're getting fiber, you're getting antioxidants, which, as I mentioned in the earlier videos, antioxidants are basically cancer-fighting nutrients. So you want to put as much of those in all the food you eat as you can. Okay, I think that's enough. So next, all we do is pop it in the oven. So we can come right over here. We'll stick it in there, and it's a steam oven, so it's not hot yet. And then if you have a steam oven, you're going to set your dial to steam. I'm actually going to do steam convection, and then you set the temperature. And if you're steaming it, you're going to set it for 400, and then click enter. And now we just wait. It's going to cook for about 30 minutes in the steam oven, and then we'll show you our final product when it's done.